Did I just start? Okay, now I'm recording.
Okay.
I'm not going to really go back. The first thing is the color wheel, which most whoever is going to be watching this. Thank you, Caitlin. I totally would
No,
have.
I was just like, wait a second.
I know. I didn't see the little thing up top either. Okay. So social media posts, if you can try to do it daily, but don't force it. Like I said before, like if you're just trying to post something because you think you should be, then don't. You should be posting about something that you actually want to share with people. That's actually going to get them. That's actually going to engage with them. And then this is just different things, but you really shouldn't go more than like 2 to 3 days without posting on your feed, and that's going to come into play a little when I talk a little bit about like the importance of social media and why it's important to build trust. But just kind of keep these numbers in your mind. So when you're making your posts, you're thinking about your color wheel. You are thinking about maybe a reel that shows your personality. Maybe I always, if I don't have something to write about, I go to my PD book and I take something from there and I just pull from that. Like if I'm stuck, I'm like, okay, I'm going to either go to my PD book or I'm going to put up a clip of my workout and say, try this, save it, bookmark it, tag, send somebody, whatever it is. Because, when you share and bookmark and do all that stuff, it really helps. That's the best way to reach other people.
And
Um,
Maggie, so also with this, like, it's nice to, like if you're just starting out, if like posting is something that becomes overwhelming, try to stay consistent with, like, if you want to stick to 2 to 3, like if you want to do like 3 days a week, I'm going to do a post. Say that's how you're starting, right? So pick your days. Say you're going to do a post, Mondays to start your week off, Wednesdays, let's try to go to 4, right? Fridays and Sundays, right? Say you're going to do those 4 a week. And if you have to take one out, take one out. But that way people are gonna be like, oh wait, like, hey, I know that Gabrielle posts on Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays. Like, I'm gonna look for that today. Or even like if you're someone who, when it comes to your stories, like if you're someone who goes, like, people will ask you questions about anything, right? So if you're someone who goes to Starbucks every morning before work, maybe you're waiting online in your car and you're like, just like a quick like drop in. If you do that every day, people are going to look for it. People look for Maggie's water goal. People look for my Shakeology breakfast. So like people are like waiting and anticipating those moments. So like take advantage of them.
Yeah, I put here too, like if you're stuck, there's so many different things in the Google Drive that talk about like Motivation Monday, Teacher Tip Tuesday, Thankful Thursday, Fun Fact Friday, Sweat Sesh Saturday. Like if you can't think of something, think of a theme and just stick with it and just make it a variation of what it is that you're doing that day. So there's so many different options. And then also, I just got my tracker that Ashley had on the B brand, and there's little things for each one. Like there's like, it's similar to this. And then it's like, one should be about like how coaching has impacted your life. The next one can be, and that could be one time it's about finances, one time it's about the community, one time it's about accountability. Like that's 3 different posts for 3 different weeks on the days that you're doing something with coaching. So you just kind of have to like make a plan, and see, as your week progresses. I, for one, need to start doing this. I do mine on the fly way too much. And sometimes it's like 8:30 at night and I'm like, wow, what is it I'm even going to write today? Because my mind is just like blown from the day. But so if you can try to do that. And then in your stories, I mean, Ashley always talks about trying to be in there at least 10 stories minimum, which when you think about it, that's only 3 minutes out of your day. Like that's 3 minutes worth of clips, 10, 15-second clips or whatever. And again, they should not just be about fitness, not only about nutrition, not only about business. The times when I make polls and question marks about fitness are the times that nobody ever answers me. The times that I make things about my water goal or about which sandal looks better or about which pizza topping they want or what wine they want to drink, that's the stuff that people engage with. And that's what people will come back for. And then eventually over time, when that person is interested in the challenge pack or in the program that you're about to start, then they'll click on the thing and you can then reach out to them. But until then, you really do have to just stay consistent. I mean, I can't tell you how many question boxes I've done. And I don't know if you guys know this, but the question boxes, you can go in there and put your own answers. So if you put something that says like for example, today I put in like, write your own I am affirmation. and at the end of the day say you want to take a screen share or a screenshot so that it makes it seem as though, I mean, this might sound like bad, but if it makes it seem like people are asking you questions, then you can put in a bunch of different ones yourself and then screenshot and share that on your story and be like, guys, these are amazing. You know, these are I am affirmations. Then it makes other people think like, oh, there's a bunch of people answering your stuff. Or the other way, I remember the first time I did my coaching, like one of my coaching info sessions, I wrote like, ask me anything you want about coaching. I went in and asked the questions like, how do you fit this in with teaching? I asked the questions that people might want to hear, but maybe didn't feel like actually asking. So you can go in and answer your own question boxes and then go in your video and answer them essentially. I suppose that's kind of like the whole fake it till you make it sort of thing, but I mean, it works. So, and then this here, okay, so this is Ashley's Slay Squad call. I have her PDF here. I am not going to show and go through this entire thing just because if you guys, I mean, you should want to see it yourselves and kind of just go through the whole thing. But this is how do you create engaging content? So she starts with even just like telling you about your bio picture, you know, what you should have in your bio, talking about something that like what it is that you believe in, what people are going to get before they even look at the pictures on your page. And then having some sort of call to action, meaning like a link tree or something where they can then click on forms to work with you. Ask yourself, is it clear what you've provided? Within the first 10 seconds, are they going to know what they're getting when they're looking at your page sort of thing? And then these are some examples. So like Holly Hillier is like #2 coach in the entire network. This is what her page says here. Like she knows if you go to her page, you're going to see this sort of stuff in her stories. MK is probably one of the most honest, funny moms I've ever met before. And every single one of her reels is a funny mom reel. So people like for me, I literally go to her page to see what her next reel is because like this here where it says, like she says what everyone is thinking is so true. Like she really is just like super down to earth and chill about whatever it is that she's talking about. So, and then these are just obviously different things too. Dylan and Jenny are both also top coaches on Ashley's team. But it goes through this, like talking about content creation. You know, like all of this stuff is here for you guys to see. This is what Caitlin was talking about. So like when you're talking about a hook, you want like as you're writing out your story, what's the most important part, and then start there. So like Caitlin, go ahead. You can kind of talk just for briefly about like what this is.
So hold on, can you just scroll up for 1 second? So on the top here, like I love these hooks that she put here, like unpopular opinions, bold statements, raise questions, starting. So I love that because like I know before I've used something like raise your hand if you hate coffee too. Like when I literally got all the haters,
Right.
but I got a lot of conversation because there were also people who were like, yeah, coffee's gross. Sorry if you guys like coffee, but I just absolutely hate it. So she says, it's exhausting showing up for your people when you're still trying to figure out how to show up for yourself. Right. So then people are like, oh, what does that mean? Why is she feeling that way?
It makes people want to keep reading your
stuff. Want to read more, right? So
yeah.
It's kind of like when you're watching a really good TV show and they leave you at that cliffhanger and you're like, what's going to happen next? And then you have to wait, unless you're watching Netflix, you have to wait a week to find out what happens, right? A friend said that to me the other day and I took a full breath for what felt like for the first time in weeks. Oh, good, I thought. It's not just me. The truth is, I have no idea how to show up right now. I just know I should. No idea how to cope with crippling anxiety and be a leader. I just know I should try. Right. So you're kind of like in that moment, you're like, oh, okay. So like she's talking through her story, which, you know, we can all do. Right. I know after I watched this call, it like truly motivated me to think about like, what am I posting and what am I saying? And does it make sense? And is it valuable? Because I think that's the most important question that you have to ask yourself.
Or even also, what are you struggling with that other people may be struggling with so that you can both help each other get out of it? Right. And like right now, everybody, like there is, you know, it's a hard time. So now this goes into like the next part about you continue to give support to whatever that problem is. And this is like, she's saying how she aims to do this in like 3 to 5 simple bullets.
Yeah. So And like you can make your bullets cute like she did with little emoji hearts. Leadership looks like sticking to your core values. Leadership looks like not knowing everything, but knowing you know enough. Leadership looks like making mistakes, owning them up to them, and moving forward anyway. So something as easy as that, right? And then it's really important to always have that call to action, right? If you stop there, people are going to be like, thank
Right,
you.
okay.
You know, and they're not going to engage with it. They'll like your picture, but they're not going to engage with it. You're going to know if they read it because you're going to put a call to action. So you might say like double tap if you feel this way too. Like double tap if you felt like this in the past month. Drop an emoji if you feel, or like you can even say like, I think the other day I said like drop the shamrock emoji because it was like St. Patrick's Day. And people did. And, you know, those are great ways to get engagement on your page and then always be able to go back. And those are people that you're going to want to invite.
So hers is obviously a lot longer here, but
So
she just goes in and says the same thing, but like at the end says whatever, and then like sending you big hugs. Like I said, I don't want to go and have us like do this fully into here because now this like talks about what to do on your how to like have different things on your Instagram rolls where you can do like this sort of thing where you're like keep adding in text, dropping stuff over top of it like this, where you're talking into it, where it's also just like a static picture with the, like, this is all different things. So again, if you, the content pillars, like talking about who you are, what you are, this kind of goes into the color wheel. But I'm going to get out of this just because this is something that you guys can get to and have access to on the Slay thing. And then also like when she's talking about it in the call, it's going to make so much more sense when you actually listen to it there.
And I also want to say, like, when you're watching, don't feel overwhelmed like you have to write a novel every day.
True.
You know?
She says that. When I talked to, when I saw her at the first retreat, that's who she is and that's what her followers like. For me, yeah. I feel like my followers like it like short, sweet, because that's how I am. Like I don't necessarily like sitting there and reading an entire novel. For me, I would rather have something, bullets or emoji, something quick, and then something at the end and move on. Like I'm a busy mom, and I know Ashley is as well, but that's how she built her brand. That's the same thing you guys have to think about too. Because she has her brand that way doesn't mean that you have to have your brand that way. Because she does it that way doesn't mean you have to do it that way. These are all just kind of different things here. But like when I'm talking about stories, your stories are an opportunity for your followers to see who you are and your true personality. Like I love Lindsay's posts that she does on her stories every morning because you can literally feel her energy. And I say all the time, like she literally brings me life in the mornings, especially right now while I can't get my workout in. I'm like, I need to go see Lindsay's picture because she just crushed her workout and she looks so freaking happy right now. And just like some people, like it's just, you can tell people's vibe through their stories. So like if you're like in your stories, like, hey, it's Monday morning and I'm like, you know, like people are going to be like, what the fuck? Nobody wants to see that. Like, you know, like be yourself, but like, you know, don't be quite so, that was just really dramatic what I just did there. But just saying, like, you know, it's a really good way for people to see your personality, how you talk, because how you talk on your stories and in real life could be completely different than what you're saying in your posts. Like you don't want somebody to actually like meet you one day and be like, wow, I thought you were going to be totally different based on what you were saying in your post or based on like how you were speaking in your post sort of thing. They only give you a glimpse into who you are, so that don't hold back on your stories. Make sure it's a mixture of videos of you talking, pictures, boomerang, text, like all these different things, because how many times are you guys watching stories on silent, maybe at work or when you're sitting nursing the baby or something like that? Think about that when you're doing your stories. There should always be some sort of text so that anyone who has it on mute gets the gist of what you're talking about just like as they're going through. If you do like 5, 10, whatever, how many slides without any text at all, that's going to be really hard for people because they'll just keep clicking straight through and have not care what it is that you're saying. So try to always have some sort of text at the bottom of it. All right. This is where we actually start talking about like why the consistency is so important. You, first of all, need to be seen as an expert, as somebody with not necessarily with authority, but like if you're trying to have people maybe join your team or join your challenge group, like you need to act like you are a leader. Like you need to act like you know what you're talking about. Like you can't invite somebody to something and then them ask you for information and you be like, ooh, yeah, I'm not really sure. Let me find out and then get back to you. Like you need to know what it is that you're talking about. You need to act like you are an expert in what it is that you are doing, which is taking care of yourself. Like you need to be able to show that, because that's what this is. Like your job is to take care of yourself. Like how freaking amazing is that? So if you do one post one day and then you skip 2 days and you do one story and then you just disappear for 3 days, there's no way that there's an opportunity for people to trust you. If somebody comes in looking for, like for me, for example, if I don't do my water goal for, like I didn't do my water goal for the last 2 days because I was waiting to do something with this algorithm, I had people like, where are you? Like what, like I didn't see your water goal. Is everything okay? How are you feeling? And stuff like that. And it's like, that's awesome that over the years I've built that because they trust that I'm going to be there and showing up in the morning. And you want that. Like you need your people to think that you're going to be here in a year from now. You need to know that you're going to be here in a year from now because you're going to grow so much if you keep up with that consistency. And you just want people to know that they can turn to you when they have that moment when they're like, you know what? I do need this change, or I finally have enough money to go and buy this package that I've been waiting to buy. And when they come to your page, they need to know that you're still doing this. They need to know that it's still working, that it's still keeping a fire lit underneath you, that you're still passionate about it, and that your doors are still open. If you haven't posted in a month, or you haven't gone on your stories in ages, or you only have like one thing up, they might be like, ooh, I don't know if, Sally's doing this anymore, but Michelle that I follow, she's still on her stuff every day. So, I'm just going to go over to her and ask her if she has this because I finally have the money for it. So that's part of what the consistency is and in building trust. And then, like I said before, like when somebody comes to your page, they should immediately know what you're about just by your bio and your first 9 pictures. They say to have a transformation picture in your first 9 squares. And I just want you guys to remember that your transformation pictures do not have to be crazy drastic. They do not also have to be you in a bathing suit. They do not have to be you with your shirt off. They do not have to be even a physical transformation. It can be like facial. It can be talking about how you feel from the inside. It can be a financial transformation. You just want those first 9 slides, because you think about it, when you go to someone's thing, you're not just going to keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling unless you like what you see at the very top. So you need to kind of just be a little bit mindful of that when you're, doing that. Like here, I just said, people are going to decide if they even like you before they follow you, because they're going to look at all your stuff first, which is why it's so important to, 1, be showing up, and 2, to not have just like Beachbody, Shakeology, Energize, collagen, whatever it is. Like you need to have your stuff, and people need to actually click on your pages or your pictures to see what it is that you're doing. Like I feel like you're doing a good job if they need to actually click on your thing and be like, wait, is she even a coach? Or like, is she even, like offering me something with this post? You know what I mean? Because if not, they're just going to pass right through it and think that you're trying to like get over them with a sale or something like that. So, and this last one here, I don't know, Caitlin, if you have anybody like this, but like you want people to try to think of you outside of social media based on things that you share daily. So like for me, for example, I literally cannot look at a Truly without thinking of my friend Meg, my coach friend Meg, because every single time, every weekend, every whatever, she should seriously be a like rep for Truly, because, but like that's the sort of thing, like you want people to think of you for like your thing. Like anybody, like anytime I see something artsy or colorful, whatever, I immediately think of Lindsay, because she's an art teacher and she posts about that. And she always has these really cool, fun earrings and stuff like that. Like those are the little things that you think that people are like overlooking, but I guarantee you the next time they see something like that, they're gonna be like, oh my God, she would love these, or something like that. Mm-hmm. So don't overlook the teeny tiny little things that you think are super boring, because to somebody else, they also might like have that super boring thing going on in their life. Like I can't believe how many people answer me when I ask Netflix questions, because my life is literally like work, pizza, Netflix, like kids. That's what it is. And that's just relatable to everybody. So don't think that, it's not.
You want to laugh because like this summer we decided that we were going to, are you ready? Here we go. Paint my shed. very exciting, right? I can't tell you the amount. I put like 2 pictures of like 2 paint colors of like 2 different sheds. Can't tell you the amount of people who reached out to me about painting the shed. And then I didn't, it rained the next day, so I didn't post a picture of it. My inbox was full. And I was like, my inbox is full right now. And it was because people wanted to know what color I painted my shed. And then even little things, we put wallpaper up. I like, we use a stencil. Like if you like home decor and you do it once a month, like do something little, people are like, oh, are you doing anything to your house? People ask, and I'm not going to say I'm like Joanna Gaines because I'm very far from it, but like
Mhm.
people will look for it and they'll be like, oh, I remember you did the stencil. Have you used this company? And they'll, they remember.
And this, building trust and having the followers remember you, let them see you and not Beachbody photos and packages. Yes, you can still use them when you're sending them to people after they ask for information. Like I just recently sent somebody the 30-day breakaway package once we were talking about it. But like one of your pictures on your feed, please don't ever, ever, ever put up a picture of like an actual like package pricing sort of thing. Like that is just not something you need to do. And another thing, and I've seen this so many times and it's really sad, don't copy anyone else's, thing. Like if you want to use it for inspiration, you can do that and make your own spin on it, but like be authentically you. Yes, use somebody for inspiration. I have so many coach inspo accounts that I'll be like, oh, that's a really good idea. I can relate that to me because, and then I'll spin the idea into how it relates to my life without using any of her words, but you can use that post as sort of inspiration for whatever it is that you're writing. I remember I follow, and this is here something else, like don't worry about what other coaches are doing because what they're doing is working for them and it doesn't mean it's going to work for you. You need to find out who your people are, who your little like niche, whatever is. And you need to just keep your blinders on. Like you don't need to be following 75 other big top coaches to see what they're doing because you know what? You should be when you should be doing your invites or connecting with new people, you're sitting there scrolling and looking at all these coaches having success and you'll just miss your entire like 20-minute power hour of that because you've been sitting there scrolling. Yes, I do think you should be following like 2 or 3 accounts. And like for me, like I follow all of my team and then I follow Ashley Fell Dyson, Emily Fall. Like I can tell you the amount of people I follow on one hand because it's not a lot. But when you do that, I actually saw somebody literally almost word for word take Ashley Fell Dyson's post and make it into her own and tried to I was so angry when I was reading it. I wanted to just comment and be like, you didn't write this. Like, I wanted to be like, I just read this yesterday by Ashley. Like, it was so infuriating to me when I read it. So, like, just don't ever do that. It's so not authentic at all. Like, you have so much to say and your story matters and don't think that it doesn't. So, something that you can do, letting them follow you, letting them remember you and trusting you. Do 2 or 3 things a week that are like giving something without expecting anything back in return. Giving some sort of free meal plan or a free recipe. If you're showing your meal plan that you're giving to your group, drop a question box. Hey, drop your email here if you want this week's meal plan. That's giving them something and you're not expecting anything in return. You're just like, hey, this is here for you. Use it as you please. Like think of different creative ways to engage with your audience, doing like those templates that you can put on your stories, like this or that, or, my life in, still don't know if it's GIFs or GIFs. I think it's GIFs because G says G, but I would say in GIFs. So, like different things like that. Like you just want people to be able to engage with you and get to know you through your social media without you doing all these other like extra sort of things, I would say. Anything, Caitlin? No?
No, that was good. I mean, you also have to remember that, say, if someone is on your page and they see that you're doing workouts and stuff, they're probably going to research it. And people research those things through Instagram. So they might find that top coach if you choose to, like what you said, if someone chooses to take one of someone else's posts, they probably read it themselves, So you have to remember that people will see that, but you guys are all smart. You're not going to do that.
And lastly, it's just remember too, like I know, and I don't know if anybody else has watched this yet, The Social Dilemma on Netflix. Has anyone seen it yet?
I have not.
It's scary. Like it's really, really sad. What people like how young kids think of like they put their worth into how many likes they get or what the filter makes them look like and things like that. Like I literally was crying in class the other day when I saw that one of the little girl when the mom came up behind her. I'm like getting chills thinking about it. And like just know the number of likes that you get, the number of views that you get does not determine your worth. What determines your worth is what you think of yourself and the group that you surround yourself with. I posted something today in my stories that could not be like closer to the truth in terms of like you need to have your circle be there rooting for you the entire time. Like, and if there's somebody in your circle that's not, like get rid of it. Like the negative energy, you just do not need it. You need to have and be surrounding yourself with people who are going to be clapping for you no matter what you're doing. That you're clapping for them, they're clapping for you, and there's no like, oh, she's doing this and I should be doing this and then I should be doing better or whatever. Like don't be like that, right? Like you're not determined, your worth is not determined by your likes or your views or anything like that. Having more followers does not make you successful. There are coaches who have 3,000 followers that are 5-star elite, and there are coaches who have 11,000 coaches or 11,000 followers or something, and they, you know, like are not even a diamond coach. So do not think that just because you only have X amount of followers, you cannot be successful. You will build your following as you continue to build your brand and as you are consistent. That's why the importance of social media and being consistent is so important as you continue to move forward. Likes and followers you don't need to focus on that. What you need to be focusing on is the connections that you're making behind the scenes, like in your collections that you're creating and the conversations that you're having. They should be genuine conversations that you actually want to have with somebody. Like don't ask someone a question that you don't care what their answer is. Like for me, I'm trying to find mostly moms in my collections because I genuinely want to find out how their kids are reacting to boo-boos and not hopefully not walking for 6 days like Isla just did, or like how breastfeeding parents are handling, you know, when they go back to work, and I can kind of relate to them on certain things like that. So like Gabrielle might be reaching out to parents or people who are about to have 2 kids under 2, like different things like that. Like you want to have conversations with people that you are genuinely like able to continue a conversation with. And I have people who are like, we'll be talking and all of a sudden it just like stops and I'm like, okay, this is not like vibing as much as I thought it would be. But focus on those connections, and you need to be specific. Do not, what I'm trying to think of what the quote is. It's like, don't try to be something for everyone, because like everyone is not your niche. Like you're like when I think about Holly Hilliard, the one I just showed you guys on Ashley's Slay Squad thing, she literally I think only works with moms. Like everything she talks about is talking to moms, talking about helping moms build a business, talking about how getting moms back into shape. That is her niche, and she has found it and it clicks and it works. For me, in the beginning I was like, ooh, I should be looking to ex-athletes, I should be looking at teachers, I should be looking at moms and breastfeeding moms. And it was like I felt like I was just like all over the place as opposed to just kind of finding more of like my thing. So now I'm kind of focusing more on moms and breastfeeding moms and sprinkling in the little things about teaching. And even like ex-athlete, I don't even really talk about it much anymore because I don't have that at all. If I was still coaching my youth team, yeah, I would maybe talk about it a little bit more. But if I were to be talking about like going back to like the program, The Work, I would talk about how that reminds me of when I was in soccer, played soccer, or whatever. But like, you just want to think about your niche, your audience, and then like who you would want to work with on your team. Like these people that I have conversations with that kind of just like end up like duds. I'm like, that probably isn't the best if I'm not even able to have like a 3 engagement conversation back and forth if, you know, we can't continue moving forward sort of thing. So just remember to always be authentically you. You are not determined by your worth of likes or anything like that. And that, my friends, is it for the call. I did see, oh, I don't know how long this person's been in the waiting room. Um, so I saw just before, Rebecca, are you still on here? I think I see, or maybe not. Wait, Vanessa, Bernice. I don't know if Rebecca's still on here or not. I don't see it. But she asked the question about the color wheel and not understanding that. Is there anyone on here that does not, can you just unmute and tell me if you don't understand the color
Yeah,
wheel?
I don't understand the color wheel either.
Okay, so let me just go back up to it real quick. The color wheel, when you look at it, you know how I was saying things like who you are? Imagine this wheel. I'm writing in the yellow, I'm writing mom. In the orange, I'm writing wife. In the other orange, I'm writing vegetarian. In this one, I'm writing teacher. I'm writing kindergarten teacher. I'm writing sister. I'm writing ex-athlete. I'm writing all these different things that define me and who I am and what I believe in and things like that. So if you're somebody of faith, you could write something like that. And those are things that when you're thinking about posting something and you're stuck or you don't know what to write about, like I could write family, 2 girls, whatever it is I wanted to write. Those are things that you go back to, and your color wheel should represent your page. You know, so like if you were to like look right now at my Instagram, like my like one of them, obviously, like 2, I would have fitness because that's what I enjoy. Like I have a teaching thing, I have a positive quote, I have something about my girls, I have something like another just funny thing, I have a coaching opportunity, something about nutrition, something about breastfeeding. Like all of those things from my circle are on my story in some sort of capacity. So it's just kind of like a guide to help you when you're finding something to post. Anyone else have questions?
Anyone else burning with a fiery passion wanting to know what we were talking about in the beginning? I'm gonna have to like go on my page and do this for everyone else. So you ready to drop? Can I say it?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So how many of you are planning on going to the retreat? Anybody? Or working towards it? Is anyone working towards the retreat? Oh my gosh, it's so exciting. I'm super, super jealous because it just falls at like
Yay,
literally
Jessica.
the worst weekend ever. So one of my coaches is working towards it, but I can't go. But we were saying like, since this year has been just so wild, and I know that Maggie and I have missed like how many retreats? 3.
Well, since Marion now, this will be 4 for me, so I don't even want to think
Wild,
about it.
right? So we said that we would love to get our coaches together, whoever is like in the area, not for like a retreat, but for more so like a day together. And we were going to do like a little photo shoot with our girls, which we thought would be so much fun.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited about it, and I'm excited telling you guys about it. And I'm also going to be, I'm gonna have to do this on my team page later, but super excited for that. And then I was thinking maybe we can do, pictures, and then I have a huge backyard, so we could do like a workout in my backyard or something like that, just to do like a little team bonding workout type of thing, maybe a little Shakeology bar, energized bar. It'll be just
So
something special.
fun.
So we're so excited about it.
For
And
my girls, I was just gonna say, okay, so we were thinking, you said May 22nd, right?
yes.
So May 22nd, which I know, Gabrielle, like you're having the baby at the end of April. Babies are welcome. I love babies. We will be, she can absolutely come with you if you need to. I, for one, will not have mine there just because I'll let James deal with her and then that day, just so I can like kind of be with everybody. But I didn't know if maybe Erin, you came back up that weekend or something and visited your parents. Olivia, you're more than welcome to come and stay at my house if you need to. Madeline, I don't know if you can somehow make it up to New York, with your family that weekend or something like that. But May 22nd
Maybe
is the date
22nd.
we were thinking of. So mark it in your calendars if you guys can. And that day, like we said, we're working on trying to get a photographer for, however long in the morning to do some team pictures, to do some individual shots for you guys. Maybe we'll be able to gift you guys the pictures, and then we can all do, like we said, we'll get like a lunch thing at Caitlin's or, something. We haven't obviously figured out like all of the details yet, but just keep May 22nd open and in your calendar. So Vanessa, that is not baby time for you, is it? You're not until June something, if you hear me. I don't know if she's there or not. But that is, oh, I forgot to stop recording.